I have more on this. Let's now talk to Dr. Jamil Khan, a career diplomat and a civil servant who's been Pakistan's ambassador to many countries. Ambassador Khan, thank you so much for joining us. You know, the fact that Nawaz Sharif would fly back to a comfortable welcome, he'd leave a comfortable exile to return to a place where there's always the possibility of an arrest and, incarceration. Do you think there's some sort of a deal that was probably struck behind the scenes to enable this?
It's very difficult to identify that. But yes, for Nawaz Sharif, now the ground is quite favorable. And that's why perhaps he could come back. We can define it from the other's angle also, that once he went on self-exile, what were the grounds at that time and what kind of a conviction he had at that time, that is to be examined. And now, once he has come back, perhaps those circumstances and that atmosphere does not exist at this point in time. But at the same time, whatever relief he's getting through the courts. Now, there comes another question, whether the courts at that time, once they convicted, what were the grounds? Did they have a proper evidence, and did they run the proper trial? That's one question. And the second question, while he's getting relief, are the courts doing its due diligence to give him relief? So these are the two questions. If you allow me, I'll go ahead with the first and second one, just in 1 minute each or 2 minutes each for it. The first one is, under what circumstances he went on self-exile. And this is not the first time. He's been in self-exile previously also. Likewise, Benazir Bhutto was in self-exile. Likewise, there are so many other politicians, not of that stature, but...
Ambassador Khan, we will get into the details of some of this a little later. I just actually wanted to ask you, given that elections are coming, where do you think the army is more favorably inclined? Is it more... Imran Khan obviously has got his own legal issues. He's in prison right now. Has the army soured on Imran Khan and it therefore feels that Nawaz Sharif would be a much better bet?
The army being one of the institutions, as a matter of fact, and one of the facilitators, including the facilitation of the investment cell. So that becomes, obviously, we cannot ignore the input of the army. And army at times do give it its input to the civilian authorities, and that is translated into the evidence and goes into the court at times. But yes, to that extent, army, I think, does not seem to have any objection to his return, and therefore it appears that Imran Khan now has a different atmosphere as compared to what he had at that time, the hostile atmosphere. In the legal process, what attitude prosecutors would have, we saw it yesterday. Prosecutors had a very soft attitude. Perhaps they realized that the conviction was not based on the sound grounds, and perhaps there could be other factors, but the prosecutors did not have any objection at the time of admitting the appeal by the apex court. It appears that Nawaz Sharif now has a little more comfortable face for himself.
The pitch that Nawaz Sharif seems to have come back with, talking about development, talking about peace with its neighbors, including India, saying that we need to have peace with India and with other countries to put the focus back on development. Given the state and the condition of the Pakistani economy and the situation that has been arising, do you think that's a message that will get a lot of traction in Pakistan now?
Well, indeed, in fact, in Pakistan, because Nawaz Sharif followers, they are not the teenagers and the youth. Nawaz Sharif followers are mature followers, and they understand what you are asking and what you are saying. Basically, no country can prosper properly unless they have their international relations direction in the right direction. So Nawaz Sharif is known to be a person who is a little subtle and quite composed and comfortable in dealing with its neighbors, including India and other countries. So it appears that, yes, that would be one of the factors once he goes into the voting. And then once he arrived here, his first slogan was that he's going to set the economy right. And economy can only be set in the right direction if the foreign policy and the foreign relations are in the right directions. I guess that, yes, there seems to be the trend, and there seems to be some appetite for correcting the course in terms of enhanced foreign relations, and then enhanced foreign relations would also pave the way for the trade, commerce, investment, and an environment for a better, prosperous economy, because Pakistan cannot, unabated, can keep going on the way the economic situation is being faced. So that alone gives a fair idea that Nawaz Sharif, if he goes with this slogan in the election, if election happens, then in that case probably he would be being one of the biggest party. And not only Nawaz Sharif, but People's Party also has a better understanding about foreign relations. So they would be competing, but this time it appears Nawaz Sharif has an edge over other parties. Yes.
All right, sir. Well, thank you so much, Ambassador Khan, for joining us with that perspective. Let's see how it all pans out in the next few weeks.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.